Hello, horse players. I am live from Rocky's Corner at in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We're getting ready for Saturday's racing. Marco, unfortunately, is a little under the weather. He might have an interesting story. He might join us in a little bit. We'll see if he's up to the challenge to get up and meet with us. But yeah, we're at Rocky's Corner, historic Rocky's Corner, 40-something years in the family. Great pizza, great food. Horse players come here frequently. The track is literally, I could take a football and throw it and hit the track from across the street on Central. And, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. We hit a couple of winners yesterday. I have to start the show off by saying Dylan Donnelly actually killed it. His pick 5 didn't do well, but we're not going to talk about the pick 5. We're going to talk about race 9 yesterday. He gave out his long shot pick of the day, which was, I believe, 22-1, and it ran second. But he also picked the 8 horse that won in that race at 32-1, and a horse that I liked, the 7, to round it out the trifecta. He called me right after the race and hit a $10,000 exacta and a $20,000 try, or some combination like that. And he won about $30,000 in the race. So go back and watch the replay of that for Friday's show, race 9. And you can hear a synopsis on the race. So we're going to dive into we're going to do a quick show today. If Marco joins me for the late pick 4, he's got the link and he can pop in. Let's start off with our ROI for the year. Negative 280 for the year so far, so I'm just teetering just below the Mendoza line. Marco is plus 1180. So we're making money, hanging in there, and we hit 2 pick 5s again on 16th, and keep this train rolling. I do have a pick 5. I'll scroll it. And we'll talk about these races as we go real quick for the early pick 5. Race 1. Race 1 is an interesting race. Let me get my notes up for the PPs. We're cutting back on distance here, and we're going turf to dirt on this race. And get the PPs up here real quick. I don't have them up. So this is a claiming event, $10,000. We like Miss Callie. Me and Marco both like this horse. Emmanuel Esquivel is really riding well right now, and the consensus is that if you can be a closing sprinter or a route horse on this track, you'll do well. This horse does have an early time form rating, 106, so it's going to be in the mix most likely. But it is cutting back in distance, so I think it's going to have a lot of punch. And we landed on that one. Race 2. Two-year-old maiden claiming event, $40,000. I landed on the 8. The 8 exits a strong race. And the next out winner in that Churchill race, actually the next out winner from Indiana won in a Churchill race. It was a maiden special weight, so that's a strong company line. And Marco landed on the 2, County Judge. It's an Asmussen. It's exiting a restricted maiden special weight at Churchill Downs, and it's coming over here for 40. And the idea there is obviously the maiden special weight drop should perk this horse up and fire a big race. My ticket, I went 3-4-8 first leg, 2-3-5-8 in the second leg. Race 3. Race 3 is a claiming event, 30,000 non-2 life. My idea here was another horse that's going to be closing late out of the 12 hole. I like the strong work tab on this horse. Key to success. Nick Juarez won a race yesterday with Pete Miller. And those races in the summer at Hastings, and those are stakes. And you look at them, you're like, it's Hastings, but those are tough. Those are good purses, and we're stepping down in class here. And if you look at the Oaklawn form from last year, the horse fits 100%. I think it's being dismissed a little bit. And if you dig into the work tab, it came here working all meat. It was preparing for this race. So strong work tab, right off the shelf. It should fire a big race. It's 8-1, and it's one of those horses that will be running late in the lane. Marco landed on the 4. Miss Tappy Tone. So Chris Hartman won with a bomb yesterday, and that was one of the horses that Dylan had. This horse is coming in from Kentucky. It's cutting back in distance. Similar condition, same condition. And the idea here is that it will also be full of running late. My ticket on my pick 5 for this race was 1-4-12. Race 4. Maiden claiming event. I landed on the 6 horse. Safe bet. It's 15-1. And look, it's dropping. The Remington Park horses are sometimes disrespected. It's dropping out of a maiden special weight event. That last winner in that last race, Shuffle Dance, ran a huge race that day with a nice number, 79. And I just like the company line on that. And I feel like this horse is going to be ready to run here at this level. Obviously stepping down. And you can't dismiss the Remington horses. Marco landed on Gucci Boy. I also like this horse. It did get a big number in a maiden 50, and it's dropping down, so it's an obvious play. Thing is here, with the price is just not going to be there for me. 9-5 morning line. Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat, but I'm looking for just a little bit more of a price to put with it. If it goes 4-6, 6-4, so be it. I'll probably do an exacta box. And hopefully get a nice little payout. My pick 5 had also the 3, Lundberg, the other obvious horse, Ron Moquette, 7-5, Rafael Bejarano. Ran in the same race. So you figure one of those two are probably going to win the race. If not, maybe my 6 gets up. Those are the 3 obvious horses for the pick 5. To round out the pick 5, it's a maiden claiming event, 12-5. I landed on the 10 horse. Again, maiden special weight dropper. The 2 that Marco likes, I also like. It's an Asmussen that had a trip. I have a trip note on. It actually says switched leads very late. And it had the lead pretty much the whole time. Got caught right on the wire at this level. The idea is it's a little bit more fresh. I mean, it came off the layoff, small layoff, ran a winning race, should be tighter. And I went too deep there with the 2 and the 10. The 10, again, dropping down. John Ortiz hasn't done too much at the meet so far. Had some success last year. This horse is gelded. We haven't seen it since June. Dropping out of some really tough races. They take the plunge all the way down to 20. Horses like this usually wake up. And it looks like Mud Pickett, Bobby Price, 2007 NAC contest here. And these are the type of horses that can blow up the toe board. Morning line is 20-1. I mean, you just kind of like have to take a stab with something like this. see what we got here for race 6. Race 6 is a 30,000 non-winners of 3 life claiming event. I landed on a Norm McKnight horse. It ran once on dirt at Churchill Downs probably a couple years ago. It's claimed for 25, and
I wrote on my thing.
the horse looks pretty live here out of the rail. If it takes the dirt, which I think it can, I mean, I'm throwing the Gulfstream Park race out. I think it can run a big race here, and it might be dismissed just because it's got a lot of turf and synthetic races. It's been working forwardly. It does have a nice drill here. 2 out of 66, worked a half here on 22nd of December, and 48 flat. So that kind of leads me to believe that it's going to run a big race, and it lights the surface. And I have to give it a shot here at 10-1. I also threw in the 2 horses, my backup. Marco landed on the 8. Mean Jakey. It's an Asmussen. It was claimed. It had a voided claim, though, last time. He gelded it, though. And this was from last meet. Gave it a lot of time off. And it has several work tabs. So it's been working steadily for this. And you can only get so many works in, and hopefully it's going to be ready to run off the bench. Asmussen, 15% off of a 6-month layoff. 229 race sample. So gotta take a stab at that. His backup's a 9 Infiltrator. I mean, makes a lot of sense. Comes out of the Lucas barn, which I know Lucas has a stable here. You haven't seen the horse since May, and it was very good. Back-to-back voided claims, though. So Marco's on 2 voided claims here, so we'll see how these horses shake out. Interestingly, the 9 is not in for a tag, so that's gives you a little bit of confidence, Race 7. This will kick off the late pick 4. Let me get rid of my pick 5 down there. Whoops. Race 7. You guys don't need to see that. Race 7 is a state-bred maiden special weight. I landed on the 7. Esquivel's in the irons. Horse looks pretty live here. Actually, Marco landed on the 7. Excuse me. I landed on the 9. Ron Moquette, Julian LaPeroux. This horse likes Oaklawn Park, and it's back with Archibreds. So running with its own kind, it should fire a big race. And if you look at those Oaklawn races last year, you run those races, that horse is going to be extremely tough to beat. 5-1 morning line. And Julian LaPeroux has had some success at the meet so far. And Marco is on the 7, like I mentioned. Had 1 run in January last year, had a lot of time off, has a really good work tab. And should be ready off the bench. The trainer has only 2 sample sizes with a layoff like this, did win one. So, and of course, Esquivel's on fire. Race 8 is an awesome race. I'm really excited about this. I'm probably going to have a nice little wager on this race. I really like the 8-horse Pain, Steve Asmussen. Had a nice rail run last time on my trip note. Things got really tight. And, everybody's going to be looking at the obvious favorites in here. Skelly, the stablemate, is coming off of a layoff. Is extremely fast. Might be a little bit too fresh here. And we'll see if he'll be able to take him all the way down, all the way in the lane. I feel like Payne can maybe run back to some of those old numbers. If you look at his back class numbers here, He won here last year with a big 98 buyer speed figure, 90 buyer speed figure. So likes the track and didn't do anything wrong in that last race. And this 8-year-old might have one more last hurrah and run a big race here. I also like the 5 edge to edge. Came off a layoff and ran a big race. It's got that recency, so it should be much tighter this time around and probably turn the tables on the favorite. And I just noticed Marco likes my 8 as well. So we both land on the same horse. And he also has the 7 as his backup, who just ran in the same race as Payne and ran a good third. So his idea is they both come back and run a similar race and maybe get the job done. Much tougher field this time, but with my trip note with Payne, I think Payne is going to possibly turn the tables. And by the way, it is my price play of the day. My price play yesterday came in second at 15-1. And we're going to hope we can get the job done with this one on top today. Race 9. Stake race. This is for, looks like 3-year-olds and up, fillies, sprinting 5.5. I landed on the 6. And, this is a 3-year-old that's in its best form. So the idea here is this horse has turned the table. It's growing up. 3-year-olds from 3 to 4 really start turning the table. And I actually like betting 4-year-olds on their debut against older horses that when they come back, we're basically into the 4-year-old season. And, the price isn't there, but the field isn't particularly strong. So I feel like this horse is going to run a big race today. Marco lands on the 7 with Randy Morris and Rafael Bejarano. It's claimed for $62,000. Has a lot of nice back numbers from Indiana. And that last race was in the mud, so the idea is that it might run really well here on a fast strip. So I do like that at 10-1. I also have it as my backup. And to close out the card, we have an A other than. We did enter a horse in this race. Lady J did not get in. Also eligible list 2 times in a row, so hopefully we can get in next time. This is a sentimental pick, not just because the horse is good, but Little Sister Sue, 5-1, Rafael Bejarano. Going to have a lot of pace to run at. Should be rolling late. And I'll have some money on that. Marco also picked it. And don't know a lot about this trainer, but he's got some good numbers. And these guys together, 12% sample size, 26 starts. Horse likes Oaklawn apparently because of that last run. And let's see what happens if we can close into a fast pace and get the job done here. That's pretty much it, guys. Short show, 20 minutes. Wanted to get the picks in. 20-minute show, no big deal. We'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully Marco's feeling better. And like we like to say, let's cash some tickets. Have a good day, everybody.